Tolley joining us from Abbot Wealth Management on this Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes, we had Sandy join us on the show for the last two segments. She did great.
She is something else.
She is something else, and she's lovely.
Brilliant lady.
Yes. We have a host of topics we're talking about today in our financial segment, and the first one, Mark, has to do with auto sales, both in Canada, the U.S., and in China.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I was reading some articles today on Ford expanding into Oakville, Ontario, and reopening or expanding. They're doing a $700 million expansion in one of their plants and hiring back 1,000 new people. So that's a great thing for the Canadian economy, and it's very indicative of a low Canadian dollar. If you're a snowbird, you really don't like the low Canadian dollar because when you head south, you pay a premium for everything. But when you're selling product out of Canada, it's a great thing because our products become more competitive globally. So that's a nice touch. So
that is a good thing.
Interesting, some things that are going on right now in the global economy. Of course, 2008 and 9 happened and people became a lot more conservative with their spending. The average age of an auto in the US typically is 5.7 years old. Right now, the average age of an auto in the US is 11 years old. So a lot of people kept their used car, and so that bodes well for the great auto industry over the last couple of years, but it also looks good going forward as the fleets and people upgrade their automobiles. So Canada, very interesting. I think we're on track to be at about 1.8 million auto sales for the year. So that's pretty good.
It is.
US is 10 times our size. They're at about 17.4, I think, million for the year. But I'll throw another one in. China. 18 million, or surpassing the US in auto sales. And a recent survey done in the cities with consumers, 72% said that they expect to buy a car within the next 2 years.
So maybe that time has come where everybody's now looking to no longer hold off on buying a new car because they have.
Right.
And now it's coming into its own.
And China is, yeah, it's amazing. 85% of the people in China who buy a car pay for it with cash.
Wow.
So the big auto manufacturers, there's a big push right now to really try and get them to finance.
Wow.
Because it'll really drive sales.
Yes.
So something, we see a lot of cars and trucks here in Canada, but a lot of trucks compared to the global market. 58% of the vehicles on the road in Canada are trucks. That's the sales
right?
Versus 42 being cars. So
is that right?
There's your little auto minute.
It's a lot of auto information.
Yeah.
And it's good. We have a question today for our question of the week, Ask Abbot Wealth. And the question is, I don't really understand how my advisor is paid. Can you please explain? So
this is a huge topic because I haven't seen people drive up to a gas pump and fill up their car not knowing what they're paying. So a lot of the fees within the financial services industry are embedded in management fees that the client never sees. Now there's a huge push on this, and there's actually some change in regulation where this is going to be fully disclosed coming up. So that's a great thing in our industry. Your financial advisor, if you ask him that question, should sit down and explain everything in detail. There's a few different models. There's a fee-for-service model. There's a model where the advisor is paid a service fee from the investment firms. So what I think is really important is you sit down with your advisor and ask him the question of how he is particularly paid. At that point, what you really need to do is look for value. It's no different than any other consumer product. You look for value. What is the value versus what you're getting?
Absolutely. It makes you also feel better about knowing how your money is being spent.
Right.
Or being invested.
Absolutely.
We have about a minute left, Mark. I thought we'd touch on the last item here. Building your wealth. Did you know that if you were born in 1957 or earlier, your OAS will start at age 65?
Right. So are you a pretty busy person?
Yes, aren't we all?
Okay, so imagine that the government tried to roll back OAS to age 67 on seniors right now. The seniors are a very organized group. They vote together, and there's no way the government would take that on. So a couple of years ago, OAS was changed. If you're born in 1962 or later, which I happen to be 1962, we have to wait till we're age 67 to get OAS. So
Interesting.
it happened. There was no great kerfuffle from us because we were too busy working and we're not an organized voting group.
Yeah.
So I had one client in Vancouver. Their father got OAS at age 72. This is back in the 40s. It used to start at age 71, but the average life expectancy for a male at that time was about 66 years old.
Sure.
So that's a sustainable model.
Absolutely.
Maybe we're going back there.
Maybe. Mark, we are out of time. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.
Some great information there. And as well, we invite you to ask a question to Abbott Wealth Management. You can go simply to the email address that's on the screen, info@abbotwealth.com, and we just may answer it next Wednesday. We're back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.